Now, in the second video, I wanted to take a look at some of the things in the lessons that show that they're student-centered, that there's differentiation, that I, as a teacher, act as a facilitator, and also kind of hone in on some of those 21st century skills. So for this one, I'm in my advanced general science class, and this is 7th grade science. And we actually hit quite a few different topics in here, as you can see. I'm going to go to the unit of forces. And what we'll take a look at here in forces is on 2.1a. Okay, so I actually broke this chapter into two parts. That's a little bit of differentiation there. I wanted to go deeper since it's the 7th grade course, but I also I thought maybe there's too much information. Let's go ahead and break up some of this talk about forces and then look at Newton's 3 laws. So in the structure, again, you'll see this layout looks very similar to the 8th grade one that you saw. So here's the general science course. Here's my final due date for this one was November 21st, and they see this skeleton, right? What I do is I try to push things into the student's lap and say, here, this is for you. I've set this up so it's easy to follow, but you need to do the work that's on your part. And the students will come through, they'll see, here's an explore. This is stuff that's optional. There's no way that I'm going to assess whether the students actually did this, but for those students in this type of a class, especially the advanced class, we'll most likely do this. And I'll talk a little bit about it. So I'll add the MP3s. And then I'll go into my eye springs here. So for this one, this is a 13-minute eye spring, just talking about how forces change motion, right? And we look at all the different types of forces and balance and unbalance. Here's another example, and this is using a tool called EduCreations, which can be used either online or through an iPad, and just allows you to do note-taking and kind of scribbling over top of images as you record it. Then again, I try to differentiate. Just because it's the advanced general science doesn't mean that these students are going to be advanced in every topic they hit, and some might struggle with certain topics over top of other ones. So for this example, you can see I included a study jams video. And again, as I put all this stuff together, there's brain pop and there's our quiz. As I put all these things together, what I'm trying to do again is just set up a structure that's very simple for students to go in and see, so that way they're not stressing and taxing themselves over where they need to go within the actual lesson, but that they can get to the work and go deeper in their learning and understanding. So this is just an example of one of the lessons there. But then what we can do is actually come down and look at these gizmo labs, right? So this would be an example of a lab where now I'm trying to include some 21st century skills, and students on this point can actually collaborate with me as a teacher if they want to do the lab together, or they can use their home facilitator, which is usually a parent or a guardian. But it also shows, again, just a little differentiation that not everything's just a quiz or a worksheet or just reading. So in this section, what you'll see here is that students are actually going to click on this activity to go into what's called a gizmo lab. And for this one, we're going to be taking a look at what's called fan cart physics. And I include just the 5 steps to success. Hey, these steps, well, this one's actually has 6, so that's kind of funny. But you click on the image, it'll open up the place, you enter your username and password. Then you want to go, I already have these populated, so students will see them and they'll find fan cart physics and click it, follow the directions. And what I've done to help them is usually there's 2 to 4 activities, so activity A, B, C, and possibly even a D. And what I'm asking the students to do is to go through and do certain lab activities, and then they're going to record their data and submit it back to me, and even maybe write up a lab report. So here, what I've done is activity A is usually an introduction, so I've actually done the activity A, and I've walked the students through that activity A, so that way when they get to activity B, which was pretty heavy in this case, the students could watch the video and then understand what I've done, get the background knowledge, and move right into activity B. And again, you can see if you're having trouble, please contact me right away. That's keeping that open communication and dialogue and including teacher presence. So then here the students go ahead and they complete their own. You can see I made a note, you do not need to complete the challenge question for this assignment. However, I find that most students, again in this advanced class, will complete that assignment. And then again, you'll see another gizmo activity down here. Layout's very similar, and you can see just between these two even, I keep, but the picture changes, right? So I show the image of the picture of what they should expect when they get in there. And again, I walk through the warm-up activity and activity A and have them complete the rest. And in this case, they'll actually take a quiz based off of what they've done. So you can see they're either uploading an assignment or taking a quiz. And also what I usually try to do in all my classes, again, to help reinforce the skills that were learned, to differentiate, to facilitate, to get the students to collaborate with me and each other, is we'll do review days. So you can see here I have links that'll take you back to all the lessons that are going to be in this chapter test. We do a little standardized test practice. And I always like this because when you click, you can do this on your own, and then when you click this, we open up a brand new page that highlights the correct answers so you can check your own work there. And after that, we can discuss anything that came up in a lesson help or a virtual lesson, and then the students can go ahead and move into the unit test. Generally what I do for a unit review is in my advanced classes, you get 3 attempts on it and it takes the highest grade. For my general classes, or middle level classes, I go up to 5 attempts and it takes the highest grade. Again, that's set up so maybe you get a 20% the first time around. You see what areas you need to work on. We can talk and discuss teacher to student, or you can collaborate with your peers, work together in a study group, and then we can come back. You can take a second attempt, a third attempt, a fourth attempt, and the best grade that you get, you'll accept. So again, that's the part of the review is if you're content with getting, let's say, a 70 and then going on and taking the test and maybe getting a 70 there as well, that's fine. If you see a 70 and you're not content and some red flags go up, you can actually go back in your textbook, it's open text, open notes, and find those answers. Better prepare yourself and come back, and maybe it helps prepare you for that unit test, because the unit tests only give you one chance and that's it. So once you've taken it, you're done. And then again, you can just see as I try to keep this for the students very, very concise and clear, and you can see the various assignments there, whether it be a quiz type assignment or a submission assignment. And there are times when we try to get discussion forums, but most of the discussions take place within the actual live classroom, or the discussions will take place in a discussion forum that's usually hosted through a blog.